Right. I think we should be live now. We definitely are. Beautiful. Let me quickly start by sharing the stream in the Discord. Just 1 second, guys. Sharing the stream in the Discord. Okay. For anyone that has been wondering, we are building up a Discord. It's called Next Wave Trading, and that's where me and the other owner, the Chartsmith, he also has a YouTube channel, will be going live pretty often and just sharing our knowledge and building up a community, of course. That's also really important. We want minded-like traders in this community, so we can all work together. Multiple eyes on the market is always good, of course. And I also like helping people and sharing my knowledge with them. I've been in this process for 4 or 5 years now, learning how to trade, and the strategy is finally getting along, so I'm ready to share a bit. For anyone new that's gonna join, we are working on a basic market structure course. A basic course where we go over market structure, supply and demand, liquidity, and range trading. That's literally all the basics you need to start interacting with us in this Discord, because those are the strategies we use. Of course, this is free education, so not everything I know is supported here. This is only just a little chip in a whole puzzle, but these are the foundations. So let's actually start by looking at Bitcoin, I think. Just check something real quick. Okay. Get the chat in front of me. Music is a bit too loud for me. Alright, Bitcoin. What has been happening to Bitcoin? Of course, we've absolutely smashed towards all-time highs. Because since the last time I've been uploading and streaming, we were all recording right here. And that's also when I said, when we do have that third tap here, you want to pretty much go look aggressive for longs towards this area and also your all-time high. And why this area? Because this area, let me use this actually, because this area is the last pullback before we've made new lows. And this is also what we flipped on support. This is your breaker block. We used it as support as well to start pushing towards that all-time high again. This also means that our market structure is looking like this. As long as we can hold this low, we can pretty much expect market structure to continue here and keep on moving upwards. So market structure is looking great. Liquidity wise though, we have we have done something here which could be concerning, because you can see this red arrow here and you can see this red arrow here. Those are market maker sell signals for me. And this is a liquidity hunt. You started trading down below. You even created pretty much created the retail channel, retail pattern here, where you had to drop down below. Everyone got into selling, but because you had a bunch of liquidity here, little demand here, we absolutely flushed it. So a lot of sellers came into the market right here. Then we stopped them out by just literally grinding up, building our own liquidity. And then, yeah, it was pretty clear that market makers could have shorted right here. We also tested back our most aggressive piece here, which is our breaker. This was supposed to bring us towards new highs for this local trend, but it failed, so then it becomes resistance. And we also tested that back really nice, and you had a good, you can cover all the liquidity here. And you can target the low, which is your drawn liquidity at that point. Right there. And it's beautiful to see the reaction of that liquidity as well. Could just be sell orders, who knows, but there's still a lot to test back here, right? Even if you do start moving up here, you just have this liquidity laying around. We could just start taking all of this liquidity and then get the expansion down again. So we have something like this. Not a break, this is a liquidity hunt. Our market structure break, you grind below, creating some extra liquidity, you pop up, and then you move down towards your demand actually. So that would be one of the scenarios on Bitcoin. Market is, I would say, stable for crypto. A little bit red today, because yesterday we had that news, of course. The news that brought us up a bunch. Let's check this local part, if I could have maybe seen an entry here, because when we took out this high, our drawn liquidity was here, and from there, of course, you could take all of this liquidity out. So I'm curious if there was any trade possibilities down here. So let's zoom into that. You know, I'm just here to stream, to chill, check out price action. What has price action done? Drawing a few high time frames on the crypto market. And if I see a trade, then take a trade, of course. But it doesn't look like that right now, though. Okay. It's actually very funny what Bitcoin have done, because you had this 3 little taps here, which are beautiful bottoms. Then we also broke above high, tested back here, and we created new highs from there. That was a really strong price action from Bitcoin. But we still managed to flush that low and then continue this market structure trend right here until we've grabbed our draw on liquidity, which was right here. So a lot of manipulative price action here from Bitcoin, and of course we cannot forget all of this liquidity that we are leaving behind. Was there any possibilities here? Let's check it. Of course, when you're that close to the liquidity down there, which was your drawn liquidity, you do not want to start longing when you front run it. Most of the time when you front run a big liquidity like that, that is your drawn liquidity, then you are going to see a bit of relief building that last little bit of liquidity to then flush out and move back the other way. So I'm really curious about this part. Let's go 5 minutes. I mean, this is just a beautiful break of structure, right? Just after New York Open as well. So when we start drawing in our market structure, this was our lower high that brought us all the way towards new lower lows. So that also means if you manage to stay below that part, you were still bullish and you could still expect lower, even though we've taken out good liquidity here. But what we've done is we have made a change of character, which of course is really bullish. There are two ways to play this, to be honest. Actually, more ways. This was your breaker, you gained it, you could have preset it. This was your most aggressive way of playing this, and then put the stop loss below the low. Let me check what kind of RR, because your draw then would be right here. If your RR was good enough, then it was definitely a trade. Yeah, it was 3.2, so this could have been your trade. I mean, you could enter anywhere between this low and this high, as long as your invalidation is here. Is your risk to reward great towards your technical target, then you can enter aggressive. If this was a risk to reward of less than 2, then I would have not taken the trade, and then I would have searched my entry lower, like here. Because the principle is the same. You still gained it. We can still expect that higher low towards a new higher high. It's just a different entry, but our invalidation point is the same. And you add this, of course. Because if your market structure just made a new high and we can search that higher low between these 2 points, you want to look at your internal market structure. Because if you break your internal market structure, then your rotation towards new highs is confirmed. And we're making lower highs, lower lows, and there we go. We broke internally as well. We can now expect that higher low for that higher high, and that anywhere between this low and this high. It absolutely worked out perfectly here. Once again on the breaker. Remove this. That could have been your play as well on the lows of Bitcoin. Because leaving open your lows here also indicates you have to go for liquidity on the highs. Trend leg, few higher lows, a lot of people getting trapped in. That spike down, and then you're just gonna enter your buy model there. Beautiful scenario. All right. Let's see here. What are support zones on Bitcoin right now? What can we expect next? Can we expect this trend to continue? Oh, this is really important to keep in the charts. There we go. If we look at market structure, this is our last pullback before we grab that liquidity low. And this was also the place where we needed to put a lower high for a new lower low in order to stay bearish. But what happened here is buyer stepped in and took over from the sellers. So that makes it your demand here. This would also be a great point of interest to wait for price to come back, get that local trend switch, and as I've just shown on the low time frame there, make that play towards a higher low towards a new high, which is just expectational order flow. All right. So this is one of them. Combining it is, why did we find resistance right here? That was because of this part here. This would become your breaker. This is your resistance that pushed you towards a new low, and you absolutely blasted through it, so coming back there for support is not a bad idea as well. And we can look the same way as this. Let's just move this in the middle here. Not a fan of right here, because this is a data candle. We have to remember that. Took out a bunch of liquidity here. I think we touched this supply. Our last pullback before we've made new lows and broke this structure right here. We never came back to it. That's why price struggled here, grabbed this liquidity and stopped there. Now it's just getting a clear reaction, which makes sense after a big pump like that. Zoom in a little. Okay, the thing you are doing is, after you put out that massive expansion, you did take it out, little liquidity hunt, and we've left these highs open. We're also leaving all of this open, bunch of trend liquidity. Yeah, that could possibly mean that we can, that we're leaving all of this for later. Which means we could see this scenario as long as we keep building those juicy liquidity highs. That makes it easier to trade towards those highs. If price does this, that makes it harder to trade towards all of these highs, because price took out all the people that have shorted in this move, and then we kept on dumping. So little manipulation, still little order filling before the actual big move down. Then you do need to be careful. If there are any questions about my strategy or the way I trade, feel free to ask so. I'm happy to spar about it with everyone. For now, let's check out another chart. If anyone has a chart request, chart you want me to look at, then go ahead as well. Check something real quick. Okay. Well, that was Bitcoin for now. Not much to see here. Bitcoin, we do have to watch out. If you haven't taken any profits on Bitcoin, then here was the time. We could still easily hold support here and start trading upwards. I'm curious if we are holding this 1.3 of this huge swing. We are. That's pretty bearish. If you do want a quick, fast expansion or strong expansion, you need to break out of that 1.3 box. Like right here. Or else this could even be your range. This could be your manipulation all the way up here. And then you could have an expansion towards the bottom, which would also make sense with this demand front run. We have never tested back our old accumulation that took so freaking long. From there you could see more upside. Just sketching a scenario, as a trader you have to be prepared for anything. If we hold Bitcoin, we just cannot be all the time bullish on Bitcoin, of course. That's not how it works. Let's move it here. We've had Bitcoin. Now Ethereum. All-time highs for Ethereum, man. Alright, now I'm gonna show you an example here. Because I do want to show something I've shared in the Discord about Ethereum. Okay, let's check it out. Where is it? Okay. When we look at what I posted in the Discord, this was 3 days ago, and this is where the price was at then. You had a great support resistance here, also your breaker, and I said, look at the way we are coming down locally. We're just leaving open all that trend liquidity, and I've said we've now made a low and a new higher high. You have this whole zone to expect that higher low from, to wait for that structure change and then move upwards. Okay, keeping that in mind, this is how it looks now. It's absolutely amazing, towards a new all-time high as well. Check it out. This was the play for me, or at least it should have been. Because what have we done here? Bottoms like these, when we keep up taking out the lows, till then you hold your lows, but also grab an extreme liquidity. This comes more into range trading. I'm not going to go too deep in that, but these are confluences for long opportunities. With that building trend liquidity, with us grabbing this extreme liquidity here, but leaving this low open, that brought us towards new highs here. This was your market structure. Broke towards the high, never grabbed the high, but we kept our low, just took the extreme liquidity from it. You can see we had a little price movement here that brought us towards that part. Left our lows open, we respected it here as well. That could have been your play. This was a break of structure as well, so even entering after that wouldn't even be so bad. But it would depend on your risk to reward, because this was your technical target. 2.8 R. You cannot complain about 2.8 risk to reward. It's great. Hello, I was looking at around 114k. Let me grab Bitcoin for you, my friend. Aminu Abdel Mumim. Are you new here, or are you the one from the Discord, brother? I'm curious, let me know. Okay, let's check it. 114 500, 114 500. Yeah, I think you're basically using this one. Let me draw two lines on where you have it, and then I'm gonna explain. My thoughts on it. Okay, that's pretty much your breaker block. I think this comes from a candle construction. Maybe this 4-hour candle construction. I personally would not draw it as my breaker, and I'll explain you why. I would see this as a support resistance, because if you do draw in a zone over this, then you can clearly see the support and resistance there, but I would not specify that as my breaker, because I want the part that brought us last, or had you've made new lows from here, you've tested this, and that made new lows. This block was the last thing that pushed you towards new lows. You absolutely smashed it, you never came back there, so there's liquidity to pick up here. And that's why I would also prefer a little bit of deeper point of interest instead of this part right here. But the support resistance is there, but I would still expect price even after a big pump like this to go a bit deeper. That doesn't mean we cannot bounce from here, because the scenario I've drawn in here, if we do create some sort of price action like this, then I am still interested in longs. I know, something like this. What this represents for me is market maker manipulation and accumulation. From your Discords. Good to have you here, my friends. Great that you joined the stream. Because if you have any questions, any chart requests, go ahead, man. I'm ready. But I hope it's clear for you why I would use this one instead of this top here. This is also just a grind down. And this is just the thing that brought you all the way towards new lows. It would make sense for me to align structure here. And also this your last pullback before that new high. So I would wait a bit deeper, or the scenario I'd sketched out right here. You have to really see market maker manipulation for in order to look up. For now, patience though on Bitcoin. No point of interests really here. Or we do something like this. Create a range like here. The way you can come up like this, you can of course also do on the other side and go down like that. Also scenarios you have to keep in mind with. Price is just correcting from that big pump, so my point of interest for possible longs to be created. Okay. Where were we? Yeah, explaining Ethereum towards all-time high. This was still the play I had to look at and explain. I mean, price does things on purpose, guys. You have to really screw that in your mind, because if you look at this, the way you leave open that low, but you actually managed to take out this low without that bottom one, that is just crazy, especially with the aggression that we had here. And then after we took out this low with this line here, to make it more clear, what did we do from there? If we start drawing in our market structure, this is the part that brought us towards the liquidity hunt. What we did was we've made a high. You can see we're leaving our lows open. If we start to leave our lows open, we can target liquidity on the highs. Well, we've made a crazy new higher high. So this would also be your change of character. And what can you expect after we've made a new higher high? Let's say higher low for another higher high. That's what we've done beautifully here. You can also, this is also a crazy one, but I wouldn't shoot that myself because I would have been in position right here. but we've made new lows even in our internal structure. We broke that structure. We broke this structure, confirming our rotation towards this high. So you even had the possibility to get a crazy scalp like this, which is honestly insane. With of course your invalidation below your structure low. This is also your change of character. Make it a breaker. Breaker is the most aggressive way you can test things back. And yeah, well, the RR just goes crazy after a scalp play like that. Sometimes they happen, you know. Plays like this, they are valid. And this is just pure price action analyzing. This is nothing to do with retail parents. This is just pure price action. What makes it interesting to grab out the low we have just did? Look at how aggressive we came up. If we trade above a high like this, yes, this is a liquidity hunt, but what also comes into the market are exactly a lot of buyers are stepping in here and putting their stop losses below all these points. We left open the extreme, but we took out our extreme liquidity in this whole up move, which is your higher low represented towards that new high, your first higher low. We took that out, and then with the confluences on this local picture here, I'm sorry, but that's maybe not this one, but this one is always a play. Always. Also combining it with our high time frame that wants to look for that higher low. A new high, of course. Like shared in the Discord right here. Let me check Sui for you. Because I know we have been sparring a little bit for that. Wow. Just picture perfect. Let me actually check what I've shared. Sui, yeah, basically was the same at ETH, but I think Sui took out that low. It did. You did have a little scalp here. At the low. Once again, when you're at the high time frame point of interest and you're expecting a reaction, follow market structure. New low, you broke towards a new high. What is your expectation order flow then? It's a higher low for a new higher high. We left open our lows perfectly until we've grabbed our drawn liquidity, and then we started reversing again, taking out our lows. That is a bit of a liquidity game. Let's check out what happened now though. What did you take? Okay, that's interesting. Let me check something quick and then I'm gonna continue on Sui. Okay, let's continue. High time frame, what did I have drawn in? $12-hour, what's your market structure? Low, high, lower low, higher high, higher low, maybe a new higher high. There's still a juicy looking supply here. I've drawn in also this little part here. Could be just attracting buyers to then stop them out. Right here, you see each time you're taking that low, filling up, market makers are just filling up orders in moments like these. And you are trending down like this, building up all that liquidity on the highs until you've taken enough on the other side, like right here. This was our last little quick push towards the downside, taking out our extreme liquidity. This is our first hold before we actually pushed all the way up here and also broke this. And this was the part that brought us towards new lows right there, because that is also really relevant. And let's look locally. What happened here? Okay, this is good. This is the part that brought you towards new lows. You could also argue this little bit here, and then you gain something. You also traded above your this line right here, which was your old liquidity. I think I would use this, or else you would have to use this. But this was crazy because this would have been a front run. Really good play, but no fill here. Also the bottom for Sui at this point. And I do not even want to look at the RR here. And there's also no coincidence that we are reacting right here on Sui. I had this supply zone drawn in already, because we hunted liquidity here, and this was your last pullback before we made new lows. So definitely a relevant supply. A lot of imbalances below it as well. So that's why we are seeing this reaction. This is a range at your high time frame key pivot point. Starting point, your low, deviation number 1. Could indicate possible market makers stepping in here. Markets. Thing is, yeah, possible market makers could be stepping in, but what are we doing? We're leaving open liquidity. What liquidity can we target? This? That's not much. So we would really have to do something like this. And then get that switch towards the downside. You would have your market maker model complete here. You can go then towards the range low, and from there you can do anything to reverse or continue the downtrend. Okay. Let me quickly check gold here because I managed to scalp a play there on there yesterday. On gold, I had drawn in that this could be our significant point. All of this old liquidity here to look for upsides. This was also a retail pattern, which is great confluences. Because you take out all the retail people, you have your manipulation below, your breaking structure above, and then also a liquidity hunt with this internal break here as well. So that's number one. With your technical target being your liquidity on the highs. And then if we do zoom in again, what happened here locally, because this is also a short BOI. The higher time frame, you're in a big compression. So you can do this, or you can literally do this. Here you had the confluences that we needed liquidity from the highs, which we have done now. And here I had some local confluences that we needed liquidity from the lows on gold. You've tested your supply. This is the last pullback, your last price action before you made that crazy push downwards. Then you grind it up slowly towards your supply zone. This was literally the part that you had to use for new highs. You've managed to test that demand, but we failed to make new highs. We flipped it. So your demand becomes a breaker block. We've tested that back perfectly, and then we ran towards our draw on liquidity, which was this in the first place. You're gonna take profit when price comes here. Stop loss above your market structure high. You would not have gotten stopped out, and then your second TP would have been hit here. And now you would have been stopped out, unfortunately, here. But that was really great on gold. Beautiful PA. Beautiful market structure. On points you can expect it as well. And right now you're even creating this little compression on itself again. And for me, there's just two ways to play compressions. Maybe four ways. That is, take out the low, reverse towards the opposite side of the liquidity. That is the same on taking out the high and reverse towards the opposite side of the liquidity. And that's it actually. There's only two ways to play compression. And the compression here wasn't confirmed yet, right? So that's why I would have taken this trade 100%. We were not in a compression here yet. But now we're leaving open this. Because of this one. Because of these highs here. You are in a compression. Gold, you have your short POIs, which I've just shown just now what kind of play I've got there. And you have this breaker, which tried to bring it towards new lows, but it failed. And now you flipped it. You want to use it as support. This is your most aggressive way to start trading towards all of this liquidity if we want to. And I do think if we do lose this breaker here, then we could see some potential breakout towards the downside, towards all of this liquidity. If there are any questions about my way of analyzing, or you're wondering how you can reach me, then definitely tell in the chat, because I am in a Discord channel. The link of the Discord channel is in the description if I'm correct. and it's absolutely free to join. We're working on some basic education for everyone, so everyone that's new to crypto trading as well just has that free education for itself. And this is based on pure price action. This is not based on retail patterns. This is based on market structure, supply and demand, liquidity, and range trading. The 4 key concepts you need to know for price action trading. And also, the basics are one thing, but if you can combine all of those 4 well enough, and then we're not gonna talk about risk management yet, that comes after the basic knowledge, then you do have the ability to become a profitable day trader with just a free course. If you understand it 100% well, then I do expect it. But only a small percentage is gonna do that. Alright. That was gold. Let's check out another crypto chart. I can see AFAX is up today. Why is AFAX up compared to all of the other coins that I'm trading? Why is that? I'm guessing because we are in a buy model here. If we do zoom out, you can see this crazy demand. This big move up, luring in so many buyers into this position. That makes it interesting to accumulate down here, stopping everyone out, actually giving us those market maker signals at the bottom here to then push price up. And we've went aggressive here because we've grabbed out the high. Yes, you have broke structure towards the downside, but looking at the price action right now, this was just luring in buyers to then take them out, flip it, and go. Retest of your old liquidity, really strong. Yeah, this is just looking like it wants to go towards that supply, and if not, we would have to see resistance above here or here where we are right now. Grab that high one more time, rotation towards here, then boom up, or react from here, go towards these three lows, also go towards our long PUI. This is our first hold before that big push up. It's a really interesting level here. $19 to $17 for sure. Oi, beep coins, huh? Fourth coin is actually looking okay here, and I'll tell you why. Oh yeah. Start by removing just everything. And continental, my throat's gonna hurt a little bit. I'm gonna record some more education after this for the Discord as well. So I'm just gonna analyze and chill a bit. Just gonna do my thing on the chart. And if someone does have any questions, then I'm happy to answer them. Can you look at Sol USDT? Of course, my brother. Thank you for the chart request. Sol, I had this shared in the Discord as well. We are just at resistance right now. That's just how it is. We're not gonna say we can be super bullish where price is at right now, because we cannot be. For me, we do have some market maker top signals here, and we do not have to go above this high, because this took out your supply here that brought you towards new lows, and there's not really a reason to go any higher here if we are bearish. So it's actually at a really interesting point right now. There is good looking liquidity down here. We had been building up liquidity here. You do have to think it this way as well. Market structure is pointing up, but then once again, if you cannot break your high, and you do see locally, we're gonna zoom into that in a second, you are gonna see some rejection here. Yes, you have the opportunity to short. Maybe it's towards here, maybe it's towards here. You only get a little TP, but you just have the opportunity to take it all the way here towards $120. I'm pretty confident in that, because look at the way we came up. This is just grindy. This is building liquidity. We are at major resistance. This is a really great chart request, Aminu. Okay. Of course. What is to the left? How did this top form? This is basically your extreme liquidity, and I'm really curious if we have taken that out, because this is your last pullback before you've made new lows. This is your first lower high, and from there we've made new lows. So there is an opportunity. If we've taken this out, it's another really great sell signal, and we have done that. That's beautiful. How did we react from that level? Let me remove this box real quick, because it just got messy. Put this one a little bit higher, because now this scenario is going to come into play. This could be another market maker sell signal, and we could start trading towards this liquidity down here. So what we want to see right here on the lower time frame is this right here. You want to see us trading up, you want to see this change of character, and then in the higher low, you've got your entry, or in the lower high, excuse me. So how does that look on the chart when we're closing up? Let's check 30 minutes. What is our structure right now? 1 hour structure. This was our high, our higher low towards new higher highs. So internally, we are still bullish. This would also mean if we hold this low, we could still expect upside for an order to follow this market structure trend to make that higher low for a new higher high. It's really realistic to expect, but because of your high time frame confluences, you do have signals that you can short here. Even when your structure is looking like this, you have confluences that you can short there. So let's zoom a bit more. This is basically your last. It's pretty much this whole zone, but I'm just gonna draw it in smaller because or else your chart just looks like this. And it doesn't matter to me if my zone is up here or all the way till here, because right here you still have support as well. This demand combining with this support resistance. So it's pretty much from this area you can expect price to do something like this, to reverse up. Because what we're doing now is we're not, this is not a market maker top. We're just leaving high time frame is with the sell signal right here. But for now we're still just building liquidity on the highs, and it looks like price is bending as well. What we're doing is we're taking out the low each time without actually really breaking it with confidence. So this means this is all liquidity hunt. You even traded above a little high here, which could indicate attracting sellers into the market to then take them out here to fill up even more orders, to then get a move up towards at least here. Why here? Because this is when you started this grind. This would also be your range with your deviations at the bottom. So actually local picture though, that's a little, should look at that. You've taken that out. This was the part that brought you, or at least had to bring you towards new lows. How can I see that? We can see price coming up here. This was your last pullback before we lost it. Price came back, tested this supply. From here on, we needed to make new lows. Did we do that? No, we did not. What we did was we left open our low and we've made a new high. So this would be your first indication that we could look for upside potential. Mixing it with this attracting buyers into the market, creating more liquidity below here. We can also draw in a box on our all liquidity. This is all liquidity get tested back so many times, man. It's so great. Always interaction with them. So drawn liquidity is right here. You have a target. You have created a nice bottom here. I do not think we have to go below this part until we have grabbed enough liquidity on the highs, of course. How could we have played this? Either place an order on top of the breaker, or this demand in combination. So option number one is right there. Your invalidation was right here. I would even prefer covering this one. What is your target? A 3 risk to reward is really nice. So I think I would have still taken it. But before I took Sol, I wanna know how Bitcoin is looking, because if Bitcoin also has that reversal pattern, then it looks a bit better. Okay, why is Bitcoin holding support right here? Let's check it. You traded above the high, attracting a lot of buyers. Those buyers are gonna go right here. We took out the buyers and then we started trading up aggressively again. So what did we have here? We had manipulation. Let me check if this is tested as well. It has been, well, that's where we're getting this reaction from. We do have a lot of trend liquidity here, and a lot of time when you are building up that liquidity, you are doing so until you have grabbed everything on the left side or have tested everything back. Maybe I would have preferred even taking this wick. Let me see this wick down here. But that's why I started to zoom in on that local picture, because there was manipulation down here. So you don't have to take that part. So you can find yourself in a reaction here. We're nowhere near bullish here, right? Because this is the part that brought us up towards new lows. So if we never manage to break it, we could still expect more downside. This is not how you leave lows behind. That is weak. This is just building up liquidity till we've taken enough on the highs to then reverse towards that liquidity. So knowing that, let's go back to Solana. Here. Okay, Solana is really outperforming Bitcoin though. I wouldn't really mind then. So we'll have to check out Solana Bitcoin in a second, how that's looking. But this was one of your plays on the breaker. Breaker was right there. Or following this trend, where you gained the breaker but put your order on your previous market structure. And then target highs. Or wait for your internal market structure break. So it was right here. This was your last pullback before you've made new lows, while this is pointing up. So then that would have been your play. Invalidation was then right here. Only the risk to reward towards here is really nice. But you want to be careful when price grabs this liquidity, because it could easily reject this high still, even take out this part and then leave open this low and go up. That's just that's why we're seeing a little reaction here. I'm curious how this will develop in the future. There are multiple ways in longs here though. For shorts, because on the higher time frame we're still bearishly biased, of course, but on the local picture we just saw a scalp. I'm not dirty with scalps. I love scalping. Welcome everyone in the stream. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Hope you're enjoying the views I do have about the market. And if you are, you can join the free Discord. We're also building some free education for that Discord. And if you just want to be in touch with me, us as a group to like-minded traders that trade the price action way, then you're welcome to join. Because your entry was here and you've pumped up this aggressively, I would personally put my stop loss here, because we are scalping. This was your pullback that tested back this structure. No reason to get back there, unless we can actually yeah, go all the way over here again and then do something. But I do not want to be in the trade then, because that's where my original stop loss is. I do not think price has reasons to turn towards these low now, so we just need to continue this trend and we can expect upside. That's why I would also cover my stop loss now with that. Hope that was clear for you, Aminu. It was beautiful PA on the low time frame there. Let's check out the bearish scenario though for Solana. So what we could do, we could start a range here where we could do something like this. Take out the high one more time, break down below, test that, and then absolutely dump down. That's a possibility. So we're nowhere near yet. I'm gonna look for a supply here. This is pretty much your first test back to something bearish, which brought you really aggressively towards new lows. Then you started grinding from there. So you had this compression, your breakout, grabbing all of this liquidity, manipulating above here, then moving down. Of course on local confirmation. Man, I'm spitting here. This should all be paid content. For real. If everyone's enjoying the stream, then definitely leave a like. Because it would help push the stream towards more people. We would have more interactive streams, more people asking questions. Because if YouTube sees your stream is getting likes, then it's gonna push your stream towards other people. And I would love to share my views with more people. Even people that are not agreeing with my views, I would be happy to spar about them. I have enough evidence, I have enough results to, in the meantime, to know the things I do freaking work. And I hope everyone can also tell that by the way I'm talking about the charts, that I'm not just saying random shit. No, this is actually backtested. I've been working 4 or 5 years to make this my strategy. And that's also why I have the confidence to stream this and actually post this up as education, because I know it works. Alright, that was Solana. Locally up until proven otherwise. Reaction here makes sense, but we could just start squeezing up. Hold this pullback and we can just expect higher, no problem. And you can go so aggressive with these confluences, in my opinion, just because you attracted buyers right there. I won't lie to you. That is such a good indication. A lot of people will look at this as a liquidity hunt, but when you do go into a high time frame point of interest for longs, then this could just be attracting buyers to then take them out, fill up more orders. We can also see a crazy volume spike here, of course. Also a good indication for order filling. To then start switching like we've did here. Beautiful PA. And it's the same here. When we quickly go for this part here, you start trading above all these highs, and in market structure terms, sure, you can expect a higher low for another higher high. But then again, you're coming from a lot of resistance, you can still move lower. But because you've traded above all of these highs, a lot of buyers come into the market. You want those buyers to be taken out, those retail buyers. You also hunt the piece that got you a reaction here in the first place. This is where the reaction came from, because this is the part that broke towards new highs. Tried to bring us up here as well. A lot of people, retail people buying. Then we took that out. Also with this bit, then you have so much reason to look so aggressive for longs. And then here again, this was the part that tried to bring you towards new lows, but we made a higher low. We left our lows open, indicating we can search for liquidity on the highs. This is a gain, and then we held it here, and we moved here. We even on the lower time frame attracted more buyers in, took out those buyers, and that's when you started going again. Liquidity hunt, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Crazy, right? Literally every chart I check at has some scalp entries, and that is the power of pure price action. It's all the same trick. It's pretty much all the same trick. Alright. I hope this stream is informative for you, Aminu. I would hope so, because a lot of things I'm spitting here I'm asking money for, so you know, these streams are always and have been legendary. A lot of streams still on my channel and watched. Yeah, Soul should just continue. And there's your first take profit. Now you can even see what looks like a liquidity hunt. And a strong aggressive move down that you could still take crazy longs towards that bit because it was attracting buyers here. And you can see that the way the market was shaping, the way we're taking liquidity out each one of time, the way you're just building up liquidity knowing this is not a macro top yet. No, you're probably gonna go towards here first, and then you could expect reactions down. Locally you had reasons to look for upsides, for sure. So we also looks a bit curling here. Well, I think I could feel my energy spiking a bit down. If everyone is curious about the way I do analyze, and if anyone is watching this stream back, you're an absolutely legend because you're ready to learn. Even if you've watched the stream now, you're an absolutely G. I hope I can see you more times. I do have to share something here because we have rebranded Discord. Trader Cage now works under Next Wave Trading. I'm the owner of Next Wave Trading with my trading mate, and we are building a community here for like-minded traders. If people like the way I trade, I would love to teach them that so we can trade together. We're just gonna build a community full of like-minded traders so we can absolutely smash the market, smash the profits. So we have a welcome bit here showing you what we believe in. We are price action traders. We really have our focus on risk management as well. And then we have our education of it. I've just uploaded our first video of that education. This is about market structure, just basic market structure. It's not advanced market structure. No, this is just the basics. It's absolutely free. The Discord is absolutely free. You would be crazy to not join here, because it doesn't cost you anything. But if you are interested in trading, then you just have to check it out. And the rest is still to come. This is just episode 1 of the basics. Gonna make 4 episodes. 1 market structure. After this, supply and demand. Then liquidity. And at last, I will do one about range trading. That will be the basic section. The chartsmith, the other owner, is gonna talk about risk management and executions. We're gonna have some psychology tips here, and actually live price action setups here. Alright, so actually setups that I have played. I will have proof that I played it, and then just explaining why I've placed the trade. So this is basically the final step, combining all of the basics, risk management and executions, to then play these price action setups. And I will have between 1 and 3 examples of that here. Alright. Everyone. Hope you enjoyed today's stream. I've been streaming for an hour and 20 minutes, pretty long if I'm gonna say so. But yeah, this is just a warm-up. I have to warm up my English again. It's been a long time since I've spoken English, so we need to warm up, we need to we need to get back to that grindy momentum, right? I would like to thank Aminu for being here. He's also really active in the Discord. Great that you were here, buddy. You are ready to learn. You want to learn. That's why you were here. Alright? Shout out to you. And I'll see you all in the next stream or video. Trader Cage is out. Thank you all for being here.